We are back with you live once again on another Johnny Torch live broadcast. Here we are, broadcast number 184, Torch News Roundup number 162. Welcome in, one and all. We're in that Christmas spirit. We've got that Christmas feeling. I just got through decorating the place the day before yesterday, and I'm going to be getting the Christmas tree tonight. So eager to get this one off the ground and running so I can get out there and get the old Christmas tree and start the Christmas season properly. Got the chat room open in case we have any visitors. Visitors are always welcome. Make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe, all in due course. And of course as well, we want to make sure you check out the link in the description below for the Adventures of Bullets, Bourbon, Private Eye. Very, very excited about this most recent project. We have 2 remasters now. I just got my Knock on Wood, which is the second graphic novel in the Bullets, Bourbon saga, in the mail this week, and it came beautifully. It came perfect, and it's just wonderful now to have 2 full-size storied graphic novels in the collection. I don't have any other copies for sale. Usually what happens is I'll get a big mess of copies and I'll say that I'll or autograph them, and for like the first 20 people. I don't have them in yet, and I probably won't until after the holidays because, you know, money's kind of tight. If you want one badly enough, though, you can check out the link in the description below, and you can find Indie Planet. You won't get an autographed copy, but you should be able to find it there on the listing, unless, of course, they haven't listed it yet. I haven't checked in the last couple of days. But, yeah, this is the origin of the meeting with Pencilneck, one of his most dangerous villains. And it's a real fun story. It's nice and it's funny. It's more comical than some of the other stuff. But the When the Night Comes is the image that you got on the screen right there. That's probably one of my favorite stories as well. It's a mega team-up of 3 of Bullets Bourbon's most dangerous villains, Carrot Top, Pencilneck, and the dangerous, murderous maestro, Sour Note. So be sure to check that out in the link in the description below. You could probably still get one in time for Christmas if you are looking for a gift, looking for gift ideas. I'm going to move the laptop a little bit. I think it's a little too far away. There we go. Hopefully I'm not shouting into your headphones now that I moved it. But as always, thank you for being here. God love you for joining us on the channel. And we have plenty of new subs. I want to thank everybody who's subbed. And I always do sub for sub if you know, your content is not wildly objectionable. So be sure to hit that sub button. Give me a comment. Let me know that you've commented. Also, you want to hit the link in the description for my Twitter page, where you see all the crazy shenanigans I've been up to on Twitter. And yeah, the only way to spend your Saturday here with us on Johnny Torch Live. Okay, first off, before we get into the news, the stories at large, we've got a mailbag. Now, I'm kind of questioning if I should do this as a mailbag because this has nothing to do with the show. But somebody did leave a comment, and I said I will address any and all comments. I'm not going to duck any. I'm not going to shy away from any comments. You can ask me anything within reason, of course. Let's have some class and taste. But I got this comment from Islam is Peace. And he leaves a comment 3 days ago saying, "Hello." Very nice, cordial greeting. "You spammed cross emojis." Now, first, before I get to the rest of this comment, let me give you some context to what's going on. I frequent the chat of many religious live streams. Mike S. Miller, with his cross-examinations, I've been known to frequent. I'm actually a moderator at Vocab Malone's channel. And, you know, as you should know if you were listening any length of time, I am a devout born-again Christian. So this is in reference to the Mohammed hijab and Christian Prince debate, if one could call that a debate, that was on their respective channels, where it was basically hijab shouting and ranting, and Christian Prince trying to get out a question that he kind of, it fell on deaf ears. It really was, as they say, more heat than light. Nothing was really accomplished. But many of us who were in the chat for Christian Prince's channel and their side, we went over and posted some cross emojis as a sign of solidarity with Christian Prince and his point that he was making. Perhaps that didn't go over well, but I would hesitate to call it spamming. If you see the chats in these kind of debates, they shoot up so fast you can't even read any of them. But the fact that some of us posted cross emojis, really, it wasn't really supposedly as disrespectful as he's making it sound. It's just a sign of solidarity, which is basically his question, which is what I'm going to get to. I want to ask you, if Jesus died on a chair instead, would you send chair emojis or wear a chair? And would churches have chairs on top of them? Now, if I could, without being disrespectful, I have to say this is a foolish question. This is sort of a straw man question that's designed to, I suppose, make me say, maybe. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know what answer he's wanting from me, and maybe he can clarify if he's watching this on the rebroadcast or in the chat. But the point is, the cross, and I deal with this with a lot of different cults and so forth, where they're like, you're wearing a cross, that's a sign of paganism or something like that. It has nothing to do with paganism. It's a sign of respect, for one thing, to show that we remember the torture that Christ died on our behalf, to pay for the sins that each and every one of us brought to bear upon his shoulders. It's a sign of respect. It's also a sign of identification, that easily one brother can recognize another because we wear crosses as the symbol of that we belong to Christ. Just as the same as the fish is a symbol that was used early in the Christian church, especially when there was a ton of persecution, to identify Christians one to another without having any danger of arrest and abuse and so on and so forth. So if this is basically his question, is why is the cross something you use, I guess that's kind of what he's trying to say. So I hope that answers your question. Islam is peace. And I obviously have to question the name, the screen name you have, Islam is peace, because quite frankly, if I were to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ in a Middle Eastern, Sharia law controlled state, I don't think that I would be able to say Islam is peace. There's a lot of persecution of Christians over there, Jews, and so on and so forth. Now, of course, saying this, that doesn't mean that all Muslims are, radicals and terrorists or anything like that. But we're talking about in the Islamic State. It's not really something that I would trust to call peace over there in the Middle East. And I'll leave it at that. Kind of heavy topic that I didn't really want to start the show with, but as I said, I'll answer any questions you have regardless of the topic, unless, of course, as I said, it's got to be classy, it's got to be tasteful, but yeah, no boxes or briefs questions or anything weird like that. But any topic I'm willing to entertain for any of my viewers. So there you have it. I hope that answers your question. All right, so let us get to the let's start with the Black Widow trailer. The Black Widow trailer. Yeah, this was long awaited. We were waiting a long time for this one. This is Scarlett Johansson finally getting into the driver's seat here, and I love this white costume. I was really hoping that the blue costume was going to make a comeback from Iron Man 2, because that's the comic book costume, really. That's the default Black Widow costume from the comics. She always wore like the leotard that was kind of like blue tinted and so forth. But this is really you know, an eye catcher. This is really exciting to see in live action. Looks like she's got some kind of a sword or something in the back there. We don't get to see her use it, but I'm sure we will in the movie. And this is a cute image. I really like the way Scarlet looks in this image because, quite frankly, they talk about you know, Captain Marvel doesn't smile and all that other stuff when it comes to other female heroines. But Black Widow is also a character that's pretty stoic. We don't really see her, you know, being happy. I mean, I don't want to say smiling, but, you know, she's basically always got the weight of the world on her shoulders. She's a more serious character, and to see her in a light-hearted moment here, I thought was really nice. Now, again, I don't have any semblance of order with these images. We're just going to take them as I as I plucked them out. Of course, there's another shot of her doing the superhero landing, and her hair looks pretty good too. That was another thing I was concerned about because it's kind of a crapshoot when you talk about the Black Widow's hair. Sometimes it looks really nice, sometimes it looks kind of awful. I'm looking at you, Infinity War, but yeah, it looks great. And, you know, Scarlet looks great. I'm glad she's finally got a chance here. It looks like she's got the Black Widow... what is it? The Widow Sting? It's like the Black Widow electronic taser on her wrist there. I think she's still got that as one of her primary weapons. And, let's see, the trailer shows her meeting Yelanova. Is that her name? In this character's name? Florence Pugh, I believe, is the actress. And, again, it looks like a lot of good action and sort of undercover kind of espionage vibe here. And she calls her sis, which I'm guessing is less to do with her being a blood relation than just that they were both in the Black Widow program. Although, the age difference here is, I mean, I guess... it could be that Scarlet's playing a little younger than she is with the Black Widow. I mean, what is Scarlet now? She's like 36 or something. And Florence is, I don't know, I'm guessing like 23, 24 or something. So it's like, you know, there's a good 10 years difference, but I guess she could have been just coming up when Natasha was just on her way to graduating the program. But, yeah, this is going to be fun to see them both going at it here. Against, I don't really know who they're going to be going against, but apparently it's not the what's his name? I was going to say the Crimson Dynamo, but that's a completely different person. The Red Guardian, that's what it is, the Red Guardian. The Crimson Dynamo, yeah, he was kind of folding into Whiplash for the Iron Man 2. There was kind of like they were kind of 2-in-1 there. But yeah, the Red Guardian, this is something that I wasn't crazy about. It looks like they're playing him for laughs, and part of the problem is this is the same joke we had in Endgame, which was, you know, 2 movies ago, where he's sort of overweight and out of, you know, out of shape, doesn't quite have what it takes anymore, but he's still getting into that costume and trying to do something. Obviously, as well, and I've said this many times on many other broadcasts, but I was really hoping that he was going to be a love interest for the Black Widow. And obviously, you don't pair up this version, David Harbour, I think is his name, of the Red Guardian with Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson. It's probably not something they're going to do. So that is disappointing, and that's done. But this is... I think Red Guardian is also supposed to be a villain, and we see very clearly that he's in the inner circle here with Black Widow and Rachel Weisz. Is that how you pronounce her name? She's here with them all around the dinner table here. It looks like Florence is wearing the same outfit here as Black Widow, the White Widow outfit, as I call it. White Widow. Very exciting to see. I guess this could be... part of the reason for this change might be because maybe she wants to get away from that Black Widow moniker. And this is calling her the White Widow. Maybe it would be something really cool because she's like branching out on her own and taking a widowette with her. Alright, so, let's see. And this is apparently the Black Widow training facility. You can see a lot of widows in here. A lot of widow makers, too. Yeah, they got some kind of red glow stick there. I don't know what that's supposed to be, but pretty cool. And unfortunately, another thing that I wasn't too crazy about, we have in the final image I have here is Taskmaster. No. Baby, what is you doing? Yeah, this looks kind of like Crossbones 2.0. Because I didn't think Crossbones got an extremely good costume for what was it? Civil War. I think he was the only one he was in. But yeah, they're not going to do the orange cape and the hood and everything, and they got a kind of spray painted on, skull grin there, I guess. Now I know it's tough because you already had Crossbones, and he's got the skull motif that they really didn't get deep into the paint with either, but they could have done better with this. Come on, this is generic as all get out. Does this look good to anyone? Let me know in the comments below. You really like the look of this Taskmaster outfit? They're giving him a little orange accoutrements there on the bow and arrow. This is pretty exciting because this is kind of what he gleaned, I guess, from Hawkeye. Unfortunately, I always said Taskmaster would have worked better in some kind of Avengers movie, because the idea is that he can instantaneously fight somebody in combat and pick up their combat style and turn it against them. In this, he's going to be sort of like, Rocky watching Apollo Creed footage and then trying to figure out what to do. I mean, that's kind of all happening off screen. That's not really that much fun. That's not too exciting. But such as it is, that's what we're getting, I guess. So, yeah. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you like Taskmaster? Do you like the way the Red Guardian looks like he's being portrayed? Again, the thing that bothers me about the Red Guardian is this whole kind of concept of, the dopey guy, and all the women are capable, and, they're going to kick butt. And then we got kind of the dopey guy on our team who's sort of like, what I think Everett Ross was in the Black Panther. It was like, we got to have the one dopey white guy in this movie with a whole black cast, because we can't just leave a white guy out, but then again, let's make him sort of the dopey hanger-on. I think that's kind of the same thing here. It's like, it's all girl power, and then when the time comes that we got to have a guy in here somewhere, because, they are half the population, and he turns out to be sort of an overweight goofball. Yeah, not loving it. But the trailer overall, though, I did like. I am still looking forward to this one. Because a lot of the Phase 4, shall we say, not really excited for. I mean, the Eternals is coming up. Not excited for it. What else is coming up this year? I think that's it for this year, isn't it? Just Black Widow and Eternals. But, I don't know. Thor, Love and Thunder, and the Shang-Chi movie are sort of wait and see for me. I got to see trailers before I can get excited about that. I am excited about the Doctor Strange sequel, and apparently it's going to have a Wanda Maximoff in it, which is also very exciting. That's a good transition there, but please let me know what you think about the Black Widow trailer. I'm excited. I guess what they would say, cautiously optimistic. We've got our first image of Wanda Vision here as well. This is from Disney Plus's upcoming streaming service, and this is to sort of cement what everybody's been saying, that this is going to be in the style of a 50s sitcom, which I think is an interesting way to go. I don't know how far they're going to get with that before it becomes, tedious or something. But, yeah, let me know what you think. What do you think about WandaVision? And we also have a look at the new Falcon and Winter Soldier behind the scenes here. We've got Falcon and Bucky. Bucky sporting his new haircut, and looks like, well, he's still got the robot arm, I guess, but it's hidden underneath his jacket for a change. Usually it's playing out there in the open. So that's pretty exciting. let me know what you think about this. I'll try to bring you as many behind-the-scenes images of these shows as I can. Let's take a look now at the Ghostbusters Afterlife promo images. Now, this is interesting because this was called Ghostbusters 2020 for the longest time. Now it's being called Ghostbusters Afterlife. And I think this is to sort of get us the idea that it's about Egon's grandchildren, and he's passed on, and now this is the afterlife of the Ghostbusters. We don't have any images of the original cast. Apparently, the Ghostbusters trailer is going to drop Monday. And for all of you waiting for trailers as well, I think the Wonder Woman 1984 film trailer is dropping tomorrow. Unfortunately, we're doing the show tonight, so there is not a lot to talk about here. But we got a picture of the Ectomobile, and that is always a good thing. We also got a couple of images, but we got one of Paul Rudd, who I'm hoping is going to have a pretty big role in this. I mean, we know it's going to be pretty much about Egon's grandchildren, but he is going to be apparently the adult lead in this film. Which, of course, I love Paul Rudd. I mean, he's great in the Ant-Man films. I loved him in the Avengers films. He's just great, and I'm really looking forward to Ghostbusters 3 on the basis of him alone. I don't know if he's going to get the proton pack and everything. That would be cool. But just his presence is probably going to elevate the humor of the film. Looking forward to Ant-Man 3, too. I can't wait to see what they do with that. That's probably a bit of a ways away, though. Okay. Let's dip back down now to... I was supposed to talk about this, too, during the Black Widow segment, but things don't always go off according to plan. Now, I did get an article today on Twitter from We Got This Covered, where they are saying that the Black Widow will be getting another prequel movie after this. And not only that, but she will be a player in an upcoming phase, possibly 5 or 6. Now, let me take a look at the copy. Let's see. We got this covered as hearing from our sources, the same ones that told us Taskmaster would be the villain in Black Widow, and that Tom Welling was returning for Crisis on Infinite Earths, that Marvel Studios has plans to bring Natasha back later down the line. Our sources don't know yet how this will unfold, but they've insisted that ScarJo isn't done in the MCU yet. From what we understand, the exact way they're going to go about doing this is still unclear, but given that there's time travel, magic, and more in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, we're sure they can find a clever way of going about resurrecting her that hopefully doesn't cheapen her death. Furthermore, we've been told that this won't happen anytime soon. Widow wouldn't be resurrected until at least Phase 5, if not Phase 6. And just in case that wait seems too long for you, know that our sources also say that ScarJo will be returning at least once more via another prequel before she's brought back in the main timeline. So this is very cool for us Black Widow fans because, they're pretty much guaranteeing another Black Widow movie, which I'm all for. I would like to have it not be a prequel, though. I'd like to see what she can do in the regular timeline, but knowing how Disney/Marvel works, they seem to want to give their characters a trilogy. I'm trying to think offhand if there was any that didn't make it to a trilogy. No, we got trilogies for everyone. We're even getting a 4th movie with Thor. The only one, of course, didn't get a trilogy is The Incredible Hulk, but that's kind of more the dicey rights issue that's problematic there. They have no such problems with Black Widow. Of course, they've given us a Spider-Man 3 in the Holland-verse, and we are going to get an Ant-Man 3, which was not a foregone conclusion at one point. So yeah, I think this is pretty believable that maybe the 3rd film would be set in the real timeline, the current timeline, and I'm all for it. Like I said, I didn't like Natasha's death, really. I didn't really think she should have gone out that way. And This probably would explain why they didn't make as big a deal about her as they did with Tony Stark. With Tony Stark, it's pretty obvious that they want to keep him dead. I mean, I don't know if anywhere down the line they might bring him back for a cameo as a flashback, or, you know, maybe some kind of ghostly specter or something. But they're not going to bring him back for an Iron Man 4. Unfortunately, I would have liked to have him carry on. I mean, like I said, you know, Robert Downey Jr. is the light and life of the MCU, and without him, it's going to be lacking. But let me know what you think about this news. Yeah, that's about it. So, rest assured that Natasha Romanoff isn't going anywhere, and I, for one, am thankful. All right, let me know what you think in the comments below. Is this a good idea to bring back Black Widow, or do you think this is going to, as they say, cheapen the death? As we all know, Phil Coulson cheated death, and he's back in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Of course, you know, barring whatever happens in the final season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he did die again. So, is that kind of the path they're going to tread with her, that she's back for sort of a temporary mission? I don't know. We'll have to see. All right, some more cryptic news here regarding the Batman. Apparently, some casting has been made, although in a roundabout way. Let's see. Director Matt Reeves announced via Twitter that Golden Globe-nominated actor Peter Sarsgaard of Green Lantern fame and The Magnificent Seven. You remember him from Green Lantern? He was the horrible Hector Hammond that really brought down that movie to a terrible place. Although it wasn't his fault. I'm not going to blame him on that, but that's the only thing I didn't like about that movie. I wasn't really a hater of that film. I thought it was pretty good. They could have just built on that to do a better sequel. But what really brought it down is that half the film was Hector Hammond screeching and crying in bed with his head growing so big that he couldn't even lift it. It was kind of a bizarre choice for your first Green Lantern villain in a first Green Lantern movie. But so Sarsgaard has joined the cast of Warner Brothers' highly anticipated The Batman in a mystery role, which The Hollywood Reporter believes, at least, is that of a corrupt cop or a district attorney. That district attorney sounds familiar. We don't have too many of them in Batman, so there's usually one that we point to. Further details are currently unavailable, but considering the prominent villain role of Harvey Dent / Two-Face, who is well known for serving as Gotham's DA, was widely believed to be one of the last major roles left to be cast. It seems increasingly likely that Sarsgaard has landed the highly coveted part. Sarsgaard joins an all-star cast headlined by Robert Pattinson, who is starring as the titular Dark Knight. Also features Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon, Zoe Kravitz as Selina Kyle, Paul Dano as the Riddler, Andy Serkis as Alfred Pennyworth, Colin Farrell as Oswald Cobblepot, Jamie Lawson in an undisclosed role, and John Turturro as Carmine Falcone. Plot details are being kept locked away at Arkham Asylum for now, but the film is rumored to be a loose adaptation of the popular DC Comics Batman story, The Long Halloween. Matt Reeves is directing from a screenplay he co-wrote with Mattson Tomlin. Production is expected to commence at the end of 2019 or early 2020. The Batman hits theaters June 25th, 2021. So, what do you think about this casting? I can see him as Two-Face. I think, you know, he's a pretty good actor, and I think he could do a pretty good job here as Two-Face. But let me know what you think. What do you think about all this? Let me know in the comments below. And we turn our attention now to, as of this broadcast, if you're watching this live, it is December 7th, a day which will live in infamy. The Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day, as we remember all the brave soldiers and sailors who gave their lives in the attack on Pearl Harbor. Be ever vigilant, my friends. That is our main motto, and we remember them fondly. But I also bring up today because this is Saturday, and tomorrow is the beginning of Crisis on Infinite Earths, which is the highly anticipated and long-awaited miniseries by the brain trust at CW, where they are incorporating pretty much all their shows. I believe everyone's got a part at the table here, a seat at the table, as they say. Legends of Tomorrow, Black Lightning, Batwoman, Supergirl, The Flash, and of course, Arrow. And it's going to start tomorrow. I am going to try and do a video review, although after the culmination of the first 3 episodes. The entire miniseries is not going to be aired until after the new year, where they will pick up, I don't have the exact dates, but it is going to be in early January with the Legends and Arrow portions of the crossover. So we won't get the full story until next year, but I'll try to get a video out sometime, probably next week, when it's all wrapped up. I'm caught up so far on most of the shows. I got to see this week's Supergirl, and I've got, let's see, I'm halfway through Black Lightning, but I don't think that's going to play a big part in this, so I don't think I necessarily have to really get caught up on that. And I haven't seen Batwoman since the pilot. As I said on Twitter, that's not a political statement, because I thought the pilot wasn't half bad, but the CW doesn't delete the Batwoman episodes. They're all still there. So I kind of feel I can go back and watch those whenever I want, because Black Lightning, they've already deleted a couple episodes that I didn't see. I didn't see episodes 2 and 3, for example. I've seen 4 and 5. But Black Lightning isn't really a show where you need to see every episode, because I missed 2 episodes, and I feel like I still caught up. The only thing I missed is how Jefferson got the new Black Lightning suit, and you see that in a recap. So why are we talking this, by the way? We're talking about this because we do have a new image here of the Crisis on Infinite Earths. This episode, I don't know what episode this is going to be in, but this is the death of Superman, which, of course, is a famous image from the death of Superman in the comics of Superman. Lex Luthor kills the Man of Steel. In this image, apparently, he is going to be killed by Lex Luthor in this version and not by Doomsday, which is different. This, of course, I'm pretty sure that's Tyler Hoechlin, I think. You really can't tell. That's obviously Elizabeth Tulloch as Lois Lane. And we got some copy to go with this. We've got a little story here. Let's see. Mark Guggenheim was originally that crazy Guggenheim. Let's see, he got a little interview here with him. Let's see. During a recent interview with IndieWire, showrunner Mark Guggenheim was asked about his October tweet in which he implied that they had reached out to actor Nicolas Cage. To be honest with you, because I never wanted to lie on these things, I actually did. We did reach out to Nick Cage, he admitted. I'll tell you one thing, we reached out to a lot of people, and there were people who didn't want to do it. There were people who would only do it for amounts of money that we could not ever afford. And there were other people who really wanted to do it, but couldn't for scheduling. That was the case with a lot of, I have to say, the movie stars that we reached out to. The thing about movie stars is they're all shooting movies, Guggenheim added, and unless those movies are shooting in Vancouver, we're kind of out of luck. He went on to say that there are at least 6 characters who appear in the first 3 hours of the event, and even more than that in the last 2. So, now, I don't know what he means by this. There are at least 6 characters who appear. Now, I would like, obviously I think he's not talking about the stars, Stephen Amell, Grant Gustin, Melissa Benoist. I think he's talking about guest starring characters, but then again, is this also counting ones that we've already, pretty much know about, like John Wesley Shipp's Flash? He was in it last crossover. Are we counting him? Are we counting the ones that we already know about, such as, the Smallville cast and Kevin Conroy? I'm guessing those are part of the 6, which leaves how many left, really, that we don't know about? But either way you look at it, this is very exciting. I am excited about this. I liked 90%, I guess, of last year's crossover, the Elseworlds crossover, because I wasn't crazy about the 2 previous crossovers, I have to admit. The first year's crossover was pretty good. I don't remember the second year's crossover, though. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you excited about Crisis on Infinite Earths. What do you think is going to happen? What do you hope will happen? You know, who do you hope to see? I know they had feelers out saying, you know, hopefully they can get Michael Keaton, and I was saying Mark McClure needs to come in, because especially with Brandon Routh's Superman being the Christopher Reeve Superman, I'm pretty sure Mark McClure is the last surviving member of that cast. Of course, not counting, you know, the Phantom Zone villains and characters that are, you know, either dead or actors that are retired. You know, I would love to have Gene Hackman back, of course, but he, you know, he's for all intents been retired for about 10 years. So yeah, I'd love to see Mark McClure make a cameo, especially since he was in Justice League, and he was also in what's the name of that show? The comedy show they had, the DC comedy show, where they were testing out equipment and stuff. Yeah, you know it. I got a review on that somewhere on my channel as well. So, but yeah, tell me any other cameos that you're looking forward to that you don't know if they're going to have a shot in the series. Let me know. And yeah, and I've been watching it up until the last couple episodes, and they're really laying the groundwork for this really good. They're doing something really fierce here, and I think we're all going to be happy with it. At least I hope by the time it's over. All right, I just want to touch on this story before we wrap up. James Bond. I think this is this the 25th Bond film or the 26th? It could be the 27th for all I know. That goes to show you I'm not really a huge Bond guy. I always preface anything about Bond that I talk about with that. Not that I dislike the franchise or anything. I've seen most of the movies, several of them. I saw Skyfall in theaters, which was the first and only Bond film I've seen in theaters. And, of course, No Time to Die just released its trailer for the upcoming 007 adventure. And I have to say, I thought it was spectacular. I thought it looked great. I know there's a lot of controversy surrounding it because, you know, there's concerns that it's getting woke, that they cast an actress that is going to be 007, quote-unquote, and that she's, you know, a feminist or whatever, and that Bond is a dinosaur. As I thought, that stuff seems sort of marginalized in this trailer. They don't seem to be coming right out and pushing that to the forefront, nor did I think they were going to. But, you know, the general consensus, let's say, is that basically one of the female protagonists is going to be sort of a feminist and not, you know, let Bond get to first base with her, so to speak. That's pretty much, I think, where it's going to end. I don't think this is going to be a largely woke movie. They do have to sort of cover their bases to make sure they don't, you know, wildly offend people that are SJWs. For some reason, that's still a concern. I don't know why. But for the most part, yeah, it looked really exciting. I think they've got, what's that actor's name as the villain? Rami Malek? That looks pretty interesting because Rami Malek is an interesting character. I mean, as an actor, he's kind of like a blank canvas you can just, like, do whatever you want with. That's kind of interesting. That's not exactly the best way to put it either, but, yeah, and also, what's that other guy's name? The guy who was playing Blofeld, I think he's in it too. So, yeah, this looks like it's going to be something, you know what I mean? I don't think this is going to be the unmitigated disaster a lot of people were thinking it's going to be. It looks like it's got a lot of the same Bond-style action, a lot of the same kind of hot babes and stuff. You know, it's probably going to be a typical Bond film that is just going to pay a little lip service to, you know, feminist platitudes that Bond can't just, you know, can't love him and leave him with all his leading ladies or supporting cast members like they did in the 80s. So let me know what you think. Leave me a comment about Bond, No Time to Die. I wish they had like the breathy narrator like they used to have in the old trailers. That's kind of like passé now. In a world. You know, they don't do that anymore. But this title is just like begging for the breathy narrator. James Bond 007 in No Time to Die. There's my attempt at it. At being a breathy narrator. Alright, our final story, if you're a Star Wars fan, There's not much to be happy about. But I haven't really, I don't know, it seems there's very tepid response to the upcoming episode 9. A lot of people are either fearful of it or just completely disinterested in it. Some people are outright, loath to even discuss it. I'm kind of that way. I just am completely devoid of any interest in this film whatsoever. I'm probably not going to see it opening week. I'm probably not going to see it until after the new year, where it's sure to be spoiled to me by then, although I already read the spoilers, so I don't suppose that they can probably ruin this for me any more than they already have by ruining the first 2 installments in this sequel trilogy. Some are trying to now dub it the Disney Trilogy, which I think is probably the more appropriate thing, so I'm going to probably call it the Disney Trilogy from now on as well. But the 3 principal leads in the Disney Trilogy are saying adios! Adios, muchachos! To their roles as Poe, Finn, and Rey from left to right here after episode 9. Let me see here. Let's take a look at the copy. But they've been saying this pretty much all along, but I think they've kind of set it in stone at this point. Let's see. Unlikely stars Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, and Oscar Isaac say The Rise of Skywalker will be their final film. I don't know. Somebody wrote this as just garbage tier. I'm trying to figure out what the heck is wrong with that sentence. Okay, let me just get to the copy. In an interview with Variety, Boyega, Ridley, and Isaac all said that Rise of Skywalker would likely be the last time Rey, Finn, and Poe Dameron would have an adventure in galaxy far, far away. The stars have no plans to appear in future Star Wars titles, much less a Disney Plus series, as Boyega energetically declared. "You ain't going to Disney Plus me," Boyega told Variety. "You ain't gonna Disney Plus me. Don't you try doing that. No, 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 no. I ain't getting no Disney Plus. I'm watching it, though, and I'll stay in the feature films." So I think Boyega's problem seems to be that he doesn't want to do it basically because he doesn't want to be a television actor. He's probably afraid once you go to television, there's no going back. But to be honest with you, with the exception of Oscar Isaac, who I think has kind of already carved out a niche for himself in the big screen, I don't think really Boyega or Ridley is going to get too far. They're sort of the Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher of this franchise. I wouldn't go so far as to say that Oscar Isaac is a Harrison Ford, but he's probably going to have a palatable career after this. He's already done some substantive movies, you know what I mean? I don't know how long can Boyega and Ridley cling to the driftwood of their career after this. I'm not sure. When asked by Collider in another interview whether he would be interested in leading a Disney Plus series as Poe Dameron, Isaac also answered with a resounding nope. "I'm happy and feeling fulfilled that the task is complete," Isaac told Variety. "So I can't imagine what it would be that would make me want to redo this thing or revisit it." This thing. I like that. I like it, because I would describe the Disney trilogy as that as well. This thing. What is this thing? This unholy thing. He doesn't even want to come back for a movie, I don't think. He doesn't want to revisit it. Let's see. Daisy Ridley added, "I just don't know if anything could top this one, honestly. I think it's just a great story and a great close, and even though obviously the characters continue to exist, it would have to be so extraordinary to return, and I don't know if that's possible." So, I think Ridley's hedging her bets. I think she's been the most vocal, kind of saying that she's done. So I don't take this as her leaving the door open, other than, possibly 10 years in the future when, like I said, her career is probably on the skids because they couldn't get any traction after this mess of a trilogy. She might be open to coming back as something. I don't want to say old lady Rey, because of course by then she'll only be, 35 or something? But I don't know. This, of course, doesn't rule out the possibility of Disney and Lucasfilm continuing the adventures of the new trilogy trio in books or other media, but this does kill, at least for now, the potential of the 3 of them coming back in a new trilogy, perhaps 25 years from now, as Hamill, Ford, and Fisher did in The Force Awakens. But never say never. While Ridley and Isaac seem pretty adamant for now that they won't appear again as Rey and Poe Dameron, Boyega does seem the most amiable to the idea in the far future, but only if all three of them agree. If Ridley and Isaac are willing to come back, then I'll come back, Boyega said. At that point, will you want them to come back? I don't know. Again, I don't put the flaws of the Disney trilogy on these actors. They're fine on their own. They're fine in their own right. I don't know. I just honestly don't. I don't see what you can do with these characters after this. They didn't come up with a compelling storyline that makes me yearn to find out what happens to them. They didn't come up with a compelling backdrop. The galaxy is pretty much as we left it. It's the Empire versus the Rebellion. I mean, there are a lot of people out there, a lot of YouTubers that are, they're trying to make coin by continually milking the Star Wars market here, but there's really nothing to talk about. There is nothing exciting about this trilogy. There's nothing exciting about seeing it end, other than the fact that it's ending. I don't know. I don't really see what there is to talk about. It's so hard to raise a Star Wars topic. That's why you would think that this would be the most exciting time to be a Star Wars fan, seeing as how the whole saga is supposedly going to be wrapped up, and the Emperor is back, and Luke is a Force ghost or whatever. I don't care. I just don't care. They've ruined it beyond repair. I think the only way you could salvage this idea of a sequel trilogy or a post-Return of the Jedi Star Wars universe is to just do a new version of the films. Maybe an animated version of what is closer to what fans' expectations are. That's the only thing that will sell, I think, at this point. I think Star Wars, as it is, I'm sad to say, I mean, this is not giving me any joy, but it's a dead franchise. It's a hollow franchise. Let me put it that way. It's a hollow franchise because it still has its fans. It still has a lot of ardent fans, and I'm still a fan, up to the Disney acquisition. I mean, they had a couple of, I thought Rogue One was okay, Solo was okay, The Mandalorian, by all reports, is okay. So, I am anticipating Kenobi, or whatever that series is going to be called, to be okay, with Ewan McGregor in it. It should be more than okay, but it should be at least okay. But for that dream that we would see the original trilogy cast again together for the first time in 35 years, that it would, it would just like break the internet, that everybody would be so pleased and excited and happy with this. And it wasn't that great. It was underwhelming, The Force Awakens. And then The Last Jedi pretty much took a massive dump on the fandom. And now we've got the remnants of whatever J.J. Abrams can pull together to try to make a cohesive story out of this. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to really satisfy anybody. I'll see it. I'll give you a review. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to have time to see it anytime soon. I mean, it comes out Christmas week, which is always a difficult thing. The Star Wars movies should come out in May. They're summer movies, and they keep trying to stick them in December. But hey, if I can't see it for the first 2 weeks, so be it. Maybe that'll give them a little less money and a little a little more forethought next time when they're putting out a Star Wars franchise film. Okay, so let me know what you think. What do you think about the possibility of, Daisy, Oscar, and John retiring after this film and not coming back? Possibility of maybe coming back in 25 years when they're all middle-aged or perhaps elderly. Is that something you want to see? Do you want to see this be sort of the tradition for Star Wars now? Because Star Wars isn't going to... I don't think it'll completely end, but if they do, if Star Wars does stick around in the foreseeable future, would you like to see them come back? Or would you like to just close this chapter on Star Wars and just kind of think of it as a failed experiment, an attempt to try to carry on a story that had a pretty definite ending back in 1983. Alright, so there you have it. Now, let's see. I am going to say... let's see. I should be able to do another video next Saturday. I'm pretty sure that we're going to do another live broadcast next Saturday. I want to be able to do a video to check out the Wonder Woman trailer and the Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer. The week after that, there will not be a live broadcast. I've already recorded something that I'm going to play for the 21st. After that, it's anybody's guess. I'm not sure what, because Christmas week is always a busy week. I'm not sure if we'll be recording on the 28th. We do have a, I'm not sure when this is coming out, or when I'm gonna release it, I guess. But I did do a video, pre-recorded video, like I did for the Inside the Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse review, which be sure to check that out. That was a pretty good review. It was nice and short and sweet, like my old reviews. And I did an equally short review of the Batman 66 meets Wonder Woman 77 comic graphic novel. And I'll be releasing that sometime soon. And there isn't, so, you know, if you're watching this video, you heard it here first, that's coming up. And I got another video for, like I said, the following week after next week. So, but until then, I'm not sure exactly how much stuff. I try to record some stuff in advance to give you all a little something else, a little Christmas present from me to you. And Merry Christmas, one and all. Thank you for joining us here on the only way to spend your Saturday here with us on the Johnny Torch program. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Check out the Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye. A link in the description below for the most action, adventure, and excitement you'll ever find in the comic book world with Bullets Bourbon Private Eye, who takes on the most colorful collection of villains imaginable. And until next we meet, this is Johnny Torch reminding you once again, keep the flame burning brightly, and I'll be with you again real soon.